Morning, everybody. How the hell did you top that man? So I'm not going to give you lots of slides, etc. So I'm just going to give it to you from the heart as an entrepreneur. Firstly, I think it's a great pleasure for you to be here, actually, addressing budding entrepreneurs. Because for me, I've been extremely proud of my career choice of being an entrepreneur. Although I think the media would project it's been an amazing journey and I've done really well, but it actually has been, for me, quite a difficult start. When I first started my business, I left school at the age of 16, regrettably with no qualifications, and came up with an idea to start a recruitment business. And although at the time it was a great idea, it sort of took off quite difficult. The business was quite hard and we struggled to pick up new business in the beginning. And I remember we'd been going for like 7 months, and it was, you know, a good month, bad month, etc. And on a Tuesday, I remember coming into work, and one of my customers who was supposed to pay hadn't paid us, and I had to pay the wages on Friday. And I sat in panic and went to the bank and said, you know, could you lend me 11,700 to meet payroll on Friday? And they said, no, we can't lend you that money that quickly. You haven't got any security, you haven't been in business long enough, you haven't got a business plan. So they said no, and I thought, should I go back to my dad? And I thought my dad would say, I told you it's not going to work. And I thought, you know, probably not a good idea either. So I was sitting there, it was Thursday morning, panicking on Friday. And I had that eureka moment. I had 3 credit cards, and they still had enough credit left on them for me to draw the cash out. So Friday morning, I went to the bank, drew the money out of the cash point, put the cash in the envelopes, and actually went to my staff and said, listen, sorry guys, couldn't put a cheque, but I was just told the truth. We didn't get paid, so I paid your wages from my credit card. And in a way, I think they were quite taken aback that, you know, I was that determined about the business. Unfortunately, 2 weeks later, the client did pay, so I managed to pay the credit cards back. So, you know, the journey, I think, for all entrepreneurs is never that easy. You know, regardless of what you may believe in all the publicity, but it is a tough journey. You're in an environment where you don't know if you're going to get paid from one month to the next, because there is no security. And I think the key lessons for me that I've learned is you've got to understand what you're doing. You have to research what you're doing very carefully, very thoroughly. Everybody who I meet as a potential entrepreneur typically have the same mindset. They fall in love with the idea. And I think if there's anything that I can share with you, business is not just about the idea. It's about the execution of that idea. It is how you implement, and it is how you execute the idea itself. That is what makes the difference. So when you come up with an online strategy or a new business or a recruitment company, that in itself, just so you understand, is only 5% of the opportunity. 95% is how does it actually work? And looking back, I think you should painlessly go through that journey on paper. Where will I find the people from? Where will I get the customer from? What will I charge? What makes my opportunity unique to the market? How is it different? Because Me Too businesses in themselves are not that easy. So I think your research is absolutely critical. Know and understand your numbers. If the business doesn't make any money, why are you doing it? The number of people who I see in Dragon's Den with great ideas, but it doesn't make any money. So how do you convert an idea into execution into profit? Because if it doesn't make any money, if you can't demonstrate to a bank or to an investor what the return of that investment is likely to be, you won't raise any money. So the execution into commercialism is absolutely fundamental. The concept of running a business, you need to have all the skill sets. And one of the key things that I learned in my business is you don't have to have all the skills yourself. You know, when I got my business, I've been going for 7 years and the business grew to a turnover of just over 13 million. And I thought that at that point, I had actually peaked. I thought I've got this business to as far as I could get it in terms of its scale and its size. And for me, it wasn't admitting failure, it was accepting reality that certain people have certain skill sets. And I felt that that was my skill set. I'm really good from that kind of idea to getting the business up and running. And in '92, I recruited a guy who I thought could actually run the business better than me. I brought in the chief executive, gave him the opportunity to run the business, gave an equity stake in the business. And last year, when we sold that particular business, Alexander Mann, it was turning over just over 380 million a year. We sold for 93 million pounds. But when I looked back, I suppose the smartest decision for me was knowing what I couldn't do. Because had I have carried on, I may have got it to 50 and I might have got it to 20. But I can assure you, I wouldn't have got it to 400. So knowing what you can't do and attracting people around you, where if you have a business opportunity, and maybe you're the great marketing person, but what you need to do is attract somebody who joins you, who brings that business expertise, and maybe share the equity with that person. So the key for me is surrounding yourself with the right people, because it doesn't always have to be the one individual. And in every business that I've essentially been a part of, that's always been my key strategy, recognising what are the skill sets that this business needs and making sure that I have the right people around me. And the best way to attract those people is to share in the equity. There's nothing wrong with that. I'd rather have a successful business that makes money that I own 30% of than to own 100% of a business that loses money. You know, I think people are overly protective and overly obsessive about equity, when actually, at the beginning of a business, the equity is actually worth a lot of money. And I'd rather share that, have the right team around me, because if you look at, in 2002, I went to Harvard Business School and did my AMP there, and we met Meg Wigton, who runs eBay. And, you know, the same message was really quite interestingly relayed by her when the guys who set up eBay, you know, they realised that actually, from a technology point of view, they were fantastic, but they couldn't run a business. And to me, I had so much admiration that they had the initiative to attract Meg, who came on board, gave Meg an equity stake in the business, and Meg took the business from, I think it's worth about 200 million to something like 14 billion. So the key was, they were prepared. Now, a lot of people have argued that Meg made something like 500 million on the transaction. You know, was that too much money? Do you know what? I look at it on the other side of the fence. They made 13.5 billion. Is it now so? It's all relative, really. So the concept being is, I think you can attract people, and a lot of entrepreneurs say, but I can't afford it, you know, because they'll want too much money. Well, actually, you know, it's the equity that's on offer, not the salary. Because,
Question.
could you,
Does,
can I come back to you? So I think for me, that's been pretty much my experience. I think the key lesson in my mind that I've learned is, because I didn't have a formal education, my belief has always been that it is your attitude, write this down, where's your pen? It is your attitude, not your aptitude, which determines your altitude. Okay, on a final note, write this down. What the mind can conceive and believe, it will achieve. On that note, thank you very much indeed. Yes.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Extremely well. In fact, outstandingly well. Good.
Looks great. My name is Anya. I'm from Heaven Sent Nation, which is massage on the ground company. We carry out massages at events, exhibitions, public fairs, and so on. We
Can I
currently
answer that question while receiving a massage?
We are at the moment at the stage where we spreading our business into Europe. We currently established in UK, and we're transferring and establishing our business in Europe. And we're facing the sharing problem, with the leader being obviously the leader, where they get all the work and continue with all the bookings and are the leader of the pack, as it were. How does the leader comes into the sharing, in your mind, in your view?
How does the leader...
I understand that it's great to share, because this is the only opportunity for any business, any successful business to grow, and the only way forward is sharing. What is the leader's share?
Okay, I understand the question now.
Yes.
I think it's all relative. it's relatively